Blackboard Collaborate Ultra is a real-time video conferencing tool that lets instructors interact with their students, particularly when they are teaching online. In your course, scroll down to Course Management, and under Course Tools, you will find the link for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Once you click on it, you will be brought to a canvas where all of your Collaborate sessions will be listed. One thing that is recommended for instructors is that they add a tool link to their course shell to allow students to access sessions easier. To do so, hover your mouse over the plus sign on your course shell, select Tool Link, type Blackboard Collaborate in the name, under Type select Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, and make sure Available to Users is checked off, and click Submit. To create a session, move your mouse up to the button labeled Create Session. A window will appear to the right showing all the details for the session. Where it says New Session, type in a title. Scroll your mouse down and enter in a start and end time for your session. You also have the option to make your session open-ended, meaning that there will be no end to your session. If you want to hold a session for your class that meets during regular class hours, you can set your session to meet weekly and select the days on which you want this session to repeat. Where it says Early Entry, set to 15 minutes before start time. If you want any recordings of sessions to be downloaded, make sure you check off Allow Recording Downloads. Once you are happy with all of your settings, click Save. This is what a traditional session on Blackboard Collaborate looks like on the canvas. If you had set your session to meet weekly, click on the down arrow to the far right, and you will see the list of sessions that have yet to take place. Please make note that you will not be allowed to join a session that you create until it's in progress. If it is in progress, click on the button with the 3 dots on the far right, and click Join Session. After a brief load time, you will be brought into the classroom. One thing to note is that while many students may join the session using the process you have just used, some may have to join through their phone. You may recall that upon creating the session, an anonymous dial-in number along with a 10-digit PIN code was generated. Make sure your students know that by joining through phone, they have to dial the 10-digit number first, and then the 10-digit PIN code in order to access. If you are using a microphone or webcam, by default, they will be turned off once Collaborate opens up. You can turn the audio on by clicking on the button below that resembles a microphone, and you can turn your video on by clicking on the button that resembles a camera. Your webcam image will appear in the bottom left corner. All the way to the right of the Collaborate screen is a purple button with arrows, which will open up the Collaborate panel. The panel contains the main tools you will be using during your online sessions with your students. The first button all the way to the left looks like a chat bubble. This will open up the chat window. Here, you can message your students either as a whole or as individuals. The button to the right that represents 2 individuals is the attendees list. This will indicate who is in your session, as well as the amount of people in your session. This is indicated either by the number that is on the button or at the very top. The attendees list also indicates everybody's role in the session. As an instructor, you are immediately listed as a moderator, while your students are listed as participants. The attendees list also indicates who has their microphone turned on. If too many microphones are turned on at one time, it may create audio distortion and no one would be able to hear anybody in the chat. As a moderator, the instructor has the ability to mute other microphones. You can mute individual mics by going to the person's name on the attendees list, clicking on the button to the far right with the 3 dots, and select Mute. If you wish to mute all the microphones in the chat, click on the 3-dot button at the very top and click Mute All. If your student has a question during the session, They can move their mouse down to the bottom of the Collaborate window and click on the button that looks like a person with its hand raised. This is the Raise Hand tool. As an instructor, you will receive a notification when a student raises their hand. You can click Lower Hand once you are ready to answer their question. The third button to the right that looks like a folder is the Share Content tool. You have several different ways of sharing content with your students. The first thing you can share with your students is a blank whiteboard. When you click on it, students will be able to see a blank white canvas on which you can draw, type, make shapes, using any of the tools indicated above. Depending on the settings for your session, students have the option to contribute to the whiteboard. The second tool in this menu is to share an application or screen. You could either share with your students your entire computer screen, an application that is open, or a tab that is opened in your internet browser. One thing to note is that when you click Share Screen, Collaborate will display the window with an infinity mirror effect, similar to the movie Citizen Kane. You can fix this by clicking on a participant's window below. That way what is being shared will not duplicate, and with the minimized version of the window below, it is much more clearer for the students. The third sharing tool in this menu is to share files. If you have an image, a PowerPoint, or a PDF file, you can click Add Files, select the file from your computer, and once it is done uploading, click Share Now, and students will be able to see it in full form. Another tool that is shown in this menu is polling. This is an easy way to ask students questions, whether it be yes or no or multiple choice questions. Once you type in your question and click Start, a window will appear at the bottom of the Collaborate screen displaying the question, to which students can click and respond to it. The fourth and final button on the Collaborate panel is the Settings. These are to alter the basic settings of your session. You have the option to test your webcam and microphone, use your phone for audio, test your speaker volume, set the type of notifications you want to receive, and decide what students are allowed to do in the session, whether it be to share audio, share video, use the chat room, or draw on the whiteboard. To close the Collaborate panel, select the purple button with an X. There is one more area to look at in Blackboard Collaborate. If you move your mouse all the way to the top left corner, the black button with the 3 lines will open the Session menu. This side menu contains resources to help you understand Collaborate more, as well as another way to add your phone for audio. But the tool to highlight here is recording your session. In an instance where a student misses a session or is not able to attend, and you want them to access any important information mentioned during it, you can record the session and have them watch it later. To record the session, click Start Recording. You will receive a notification that your Collaborate session is being recorded, and it will also be indicated by the icon of a camera with a red dot in it that is located at the button with the 3 lines. To stop the recording, open the Session menu again and click Stop Recording. To leave the session, open the Session menu and scroll your mouse to the very bottom and click Leave Session. There are 2 more aspects of Blackboard Collaborate to spotlight. The first is to view reports. To do so, take your mouse, bring it to the session you want to review the report for, and click to the button with the 3 dots on the far right and select View Reports. This will bring you to a page that lists the basic details of your session. It shows the start time, the end time, how many people attended, and the session's duration. If you want to view a full attendance of who attended the session, go to the final column and click View Report. This will provide more advanced details on your session's report. It shows who attended the course, their role, their attendee type, when they first joined, when they last left, the amount of time they spent in the session, and how many times they joined. If you want your own personal copy of the attendance, move your mouse over to Tools, and you can either print the report or export it to an Excel file. The final aspect of Blackboard Collaborate to highlight is the session recordings. You could access them by taking your mouse and going up to the black bar that says Sessions. On the far left, you'll find a button with 3 lines that will open the menu. Click on Recordings. This will list all the recordings you have made in Blackboard Collaborate. By simply clicking on the title, it gives you the option to watch it. After a load time, it will appear on the screen. Not only does this record what is shared on screen, but it also records the chat log. You can access this by taking your mouse and moving down to the bottom right corner and click on the purple button with the arrows that says Open Chat Panel. If you want your students to access these recordings easier, you can simply add it in your course content. You can do this by going to your recording and clicking on the button with the 3 dots at the far right and select Copy Link, which will automatically copy the link. Go to Course Content, and where it says Build Content, select Web Link. Where it says Name, you can type in a title, and in the URL box, paste the link that you just copied, and click Submit. So now when students access their course content, they can click on the recording and watch it from there. And that is how you use Blackboard Collaborate.